All right, everybody, thanks for coming back for another episode here of the guys, all of us hanging out here in the Otaku Lounge. This one here has been great. Team List showed up. We've got a lot of great voice actors that have joined us. We've had a lot of great cosplayers that have joined us. You're probably going to catch a theme this year, though. Been a lot of Dragon Ball Z involved in some of these voice actors this time. We are in the wonderful city of Irving, Texas, close to that Funimation base, and we're bringing in some more Dragon Ball Z love for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Ranger's joining us. How you doing, Chris?
I am well. Thank you for having me.
Man, no, thank you, man.
Pleasure is mine.
We've been watching you guys. Man, your table, the fan tables, the fans are loving you guys, man.
Been a good response this weekend. So yeah, it's always good to get some love.
Well, I'll tell you, when we were over there watching it, everybody's like trying to get in, and it was so hard for us to even get to you at one point. We were just like, we'll just come back.
Right.
We'll just leave them alone.
That's fine.
So many people are there to see you guys, and I saw you doing the autographs.
Well, it's cool that sometimes all you have to do is say Dragon Ball Z, and people are like, "What? I got what? How do I get there?"
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain. It's been a great ride being a part of this for now 18 years.
18 years.
18 years. I started doing Mr. Satan HerCule. I don't like to call him HerCule, but I've been doing that since 1999. That's when I booked that part.
Wow.
So yeah.
How did that all come about?
I was in my 20s, man.
Hey, look, we're not going to put ages on this. We're not going to do that to you.
I used to get girlfriends and things like that back then. Right, but not.
Yeah, so you were spitting Dragon Ball. Hey, you want to know what a night with Mr. Satan's like, girl?
Right? No, you don't.
That's beautiful, man. So how did that come about? How did you get the gig?
Well, a friend of mine, Mike McFarland, some of you guys might know as Master Roshi. He's not far off. He's not as old as Master Roshi, but he's as perverted.
Okay.
I think. No, I love Mike. But he had booked a part of Master Roshi. We were in a comedy troupe together called Section 8 Comedy in Dallas, and we've been performing around Dallas and other places. And he was like, these guys out in Fort Worth, Texas, are paying people to do voices for cartoons. I was like, well, I want to get paid to do voices for cartoons. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So I went and auditioned one day. HerCule was on the docket, as it were. Mr. Satan was there, and when I saw him, I thought, man, he looks like Hulk Hogan to me. He was there. He had the Hogan stash. He had the championship belt. He was in a pose, and so my first inclination, I kind of come from that world of improv, right? So you make choices, you sell those choices, and I just committed to this sort of 80s embodiment of wrestlers that I'd loved in my childhood, Macho Man and Jesse the Body Ventura and Hulk Hogan and those guys, and so I just sort of mashed them into this voice, and they liked it and gave me the part.
That's it, and then the rest is history. You've
Right?
just been rocking it since.
Yes, indeed.
Man, that's awesome, man. Now, here's how big it is. So let's just go ahead and deal with it. Kamea Con, 2018 is coming up,
guys.
and Dragon Ball fans lost their freaking. I mean, the videos of the announcements by other people that were just like finding out about it, and they were making announcements, went viral.
Right.
And
right. People's reactions to that this is existing.
That this is a real thing.
I tell you, a good friend of mine, Chris Bradley, he's one of my agents, takes care of me, local cons and area cons, Comic Cons, and I guess him and his group of people who put on conventions were like, hey, we want to do this idea. What do you guys think? And I was like, that's a great idea. You obviously should do this.
Yeah.
They didn't really need my opinion. I'm sure they knew it was a good idea. So they've been running with it now for, I guess, past 6-8 months and whatnot. And things are going viral, like you said. They had a couple of hits on, some of the announcements. And, Chris Bradley calls me up one day and he's like, man, we got like 10,000 pre-regs already, dude. And I was like, oh, no. Well, let's go. Now it's even more. I mean, that was, a month and a half ago or 2 months ago. So I don't know what it is now.
No, we've had our email, when we saw it, we just did a mention of it on one of our episodes, and then the emails came into us, are you guys going? You got to go cover this thing. And so now we're like, okay, we really got to figure out how to get into that.
I mean, you're talking about, it really is encompassing all that world. I mean, they're bringing in some of the Canadian guys from the old Ocean Dub stuff, Right. I think they're going to have both Vegetas there. So you're going to have, Sabbath and, now I can't remember his name.
Everybody in one building, Doug.
Right. Yes. So Japanese voice actors, the current Funimation voice actors, past and present, and even some of the Ocean Dub guys. It's going to be a full blown celebration of this thing that we all love, Dragon Ball.
I'm getting my Master Roshi right. I
There
gotta
you go.
keep growing this.
There
I'm
you
going
go.
in all the way.
It's all good. I like
gotta
it.
do
I
it,
like
man. But so let's talk about this. When you first did it, did you have any idea how big this was going to be?
I really didn't. You know, I mean, I knew what anime was, although when I was a kid, we didn't call it anime, we called it Japanimation,
Exactly.
right? So there were shows like Star Blazers, you might know Star Battleship Yamato, Battle of the Planets, which was awesome. I love both of those shows. Of course, there was Speed Racer, and then later on there was, of course, Voltron, and then Robotech.
Yeah.
Man, I was super crazy about Robotech. With Star Blazers too, those were probably two of my top favorite.
We just
And
talked to
now
Chris Wakehamp about that.
Now Funimation is doing the newest version of Star Blazers, which I've already taken a look at, and let me tell you, I mean, they are staying so true to this anime, and it gives me goosebumps. It really does, because it looks like the old anime, except much, much better, you know, animation-wise and everything. But the characters look the same, the uniforms and all that
The
is the same.
recreation was a scene for scene of that first episode. I loved everything about
Man.
that first one. And then when I realized Jerry Jules involved with the directing
Right.
in it, and then you got guys like Wakehamp, you know,
Right.
Christopher Wake, I was like, I'm in, fam.
Well,
Y'all gotta tell me no
I know
more.
is I'm crossing my fingers that they throw something my way on that show, 'cause that was my favorite show growing up. So,
heard it.
yeah.
You heard it. It's been said.
Let the people know I'm breaking things here. Let people request me to be in this anime.
It's been said.
Send your energy and willpower my way, and maybe I will. But
That's it,
I would
man.
love to be in it, and hopefully, cross my fingers. Something will come up that I get to do.
Sweet, man, because I'm telling you, they're pulling out all the stops with this, man. And right now, it's like this is a prime time to be involved in the anime industry. This is
I mean, you know, it's come a long way. We even, you know, there was a time even in the 2000s with all the torrenting and everything that was going on. There really were some questions like, how can we survive this? What is that next step? And then with the whole streaming phenomenon with Netflix and Hulu and now Amazon and everything else, and then Funimation channel soon to follow, it all started to kind of work its way back up, you know, and you know. It's been a good ride, you know. It's been a good ride, and man, things are busy. Simuldubs, literally anime that's being created and aired for the first time in Japan. 2 weeks later, is being aired and redubbed here on Funimation channel in English. And I mean, you can't get your anime any faster or better than you can these days.
And that's the thing. Like when we were younger, you know, hey, I'm 46, man. When I was younger, you had to hope somebody had a VHS,
right?
And that VHS had been shared between 50 guys by the time it got to you, just to try to see these episodes.
Some added extra bootlegged copy over.
Oh
over
yeah,
something like that.
It was a hard time back in the day to get those. So.
Right. You always having to tape over that thing that allowed you to record on it, you know, and had to put the tabs back in the VHS tapes.
Yeah, that's old school, man. Y'all don't know what
you had no idea how good you have it.
Yeah, you flip on the streaming channel. I had to worry about Big Mike Sanders in my neighborhood getting the DVD. It was a struggle, man.
Right, and it's not like you can just carry around, like, you know, you carry all your music and everything, you carry it inside your phone. You know, you were walking around with like boxes of VHS going, this is what I watch, I'm going to watch that. You can't, with the VCR on your back and anyway.
Yeah, no, those are the old school. No, it really was going uphill to school both ways. Yeah, we really did do that. That was the old school anime life.
No shoes, only had 1 foot.
Listen to our struggles. So out of all the things you got, I know this is, you know, getting near the end of the year. Any more cons coming up for you the end of the year?
I got one at the beginning of the year. I got one in January coming up, Paradise City in Miami.
Okay.
So if you're out there, come check us out.
Sweet.
Josh and Martin and myself will be there. Boo and Satan. We are a team, anime's favorite odd couple, as it were.
Hey man, that's a great combo right there, man.
I think it is. We've been starting to build ourselves together for conventions, and it's done well for us. People like the idea of having Boo and Satan together at their convention.
Two iconic characters.
Plus, at the same time, Josh, and I think you probably talked to him earlier, but Josh and I are in real life best friends and have been long before we were ever in Dragon Ball Z. So it's this sort of unique, you know, life imitating art type of thing.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. And also, we're going to talk about it because before the camera turned on, you're a Madden fan.
I am a Madden fan. I'm a huge
Madden Ultimate Team fan.
Yes, I am. I'm an Ultimate Team fan. It took me a while to kind of make that crossover because in the early days it was a little wonky, and I didn't really like it. And we were just talking about that whole pay-to-play, and I know there was that Battlefront story that came out about the pay-to-play, and I think EA may be a little bit one who's more guilty of this than maybe some of the others, but I'm just saying. But I don't like it does seem unfair to me that somebody can buy a bunch of packs and get players that I played hours to get. And there needs to be some way that I can sort of even that out. Now, they do have that salary cap ranked one where you do have to, blend your players in together to a certain amount of pointage that you can't go over.
Some of my favorite games I've played in that mode.
Yeah.
Some of my favorites.
That's a good mode. I think that evens things out a little bit, but even still, there are certain players that you can get that have really good, big, high ranking numbers on them, and a variation of them have a lower cap value. So it's really all about the cap value. So some of those guys, when they get really big, some of their cap values actually get lower for some of those. And so you got to be careful of those because those guys will go after and pay for those low salary cap guys, but high ratings,
and
put them on your team, and then you're at a disadvantage again. So
but the thing that kills me is how many people have these like they tried to buy the championship, like they're the Yankees of Madden Ultimate Team,
right?
And then get ran off the field, and then they file charges trying to say you cheated.
Dan Snyder did it with the Redskins, man, for a while, where he brought in, Deion Sanders and all those guys, and that went all downhill.
Yeah, and then they try to say, well, you're cheating. No, you just don't know how to read a 4-3 defense.
Right?
I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Well, the truth is, I mean, it really is about being able to read defenses and anticipate what that other player is going to do. I mean, you got cover 3, you got cover 2, and stuff like that, and at the end of the day, there are ways to beat those things, and you just got to play and get the experience and you have to understand football to play Madden these days. If you don't understand literally the inner workings of how zone reads work and zone blitzes work and those kinds of things, you can't play this game.
No,
I'm sorry.
If you played the long shot mode, there was a thing in there where he's doing his the coach is talking to Devin Wade and he's like, what is this offense? And I was like, well, that's this, and then that's this.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he asked one question, I went, I don't know what this offensive lineup is.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. And I'm watching every week, and I play all the time. And so then I kept thinking about EA's an international company. There are guys in their Galway, Ireland office that have this game that are going to be like, I don't know what any of this stuff is.
Right.
I don't know what the safety
I
is
thought
in
a
this.
little of that was dumb. That play calling stuff to get your intellect up, I mean, you can go through that a few times, just make sure you're making the right choices to get that full 100%. Because it helps you later on when you play the long shot solo challenges to get ultimately, which is like an 84 overall, either Colt or
Devin
or Court Devin. But at the end of the day, man, those don't last very long because there are so many other better quarterbacks and stuff out there that come out pretty quick. So it was fun to play the long shots. I enjoyed that, but ultimately it didn't really gain any MUT stuff that I felt was valuable.
No, not at all. But it was one of those things where it's like, I liked the story, and I enjoyed it.
No, it was fun.
Yeah, but
I even liked the behind-the-scenes thing. Did you see that, of them making it? It was really fun. It was really cool because, homeboy, the older guy, I just thought, man, I'm going to want to see him in a mocap. And there he was in a mocap outfit, old school. I can't remember the actor's name, but he's been around forever. Plays the old coach or whatever. Right. And I just thought it was funny seeing this old guy in the mocap outfit. I thought it looked great.
I'll tell you, that's the thing. Like, I see a future for him to do that because now they're starting to court these Hollywood actors to come in and do the game. And I was like, okay, I see where you're going with this. This will only get better, but definitely it was one of those things where you go.
Well, I mentioned it because they had done that thing already with the FIFA. I play FIFA a little bit too, and I'm not as crazy about FIFA as I am Madden, but I did like their little story mode that they had, and I thought they took it much further than long shots.
The journey, yeah, and they brought in a lot of big names.
Well, and on top of that, it was more like you played through like these entire seasons as opposed to ending and then you having to jump into these solo challenges. There was a storyline that continued much longer in that one. So I was hoping that maybe we get that this time around.
EA, I know you guys support the show. I know a bunch of you are there. why is Chris
Right.
Rager not in any of our games right now? Because this guy loves this, okay?
I
This
do.
is a true fan right here.
I've been playing Madden since 1992 when the very first one ever came out on the Sega Genesis. And I have played every version of Madden since. And
I still have a copy for the
I
Atari
remember
2600.
when y'all screwed up and had the old polygonal characters. Remember God, that was a terrible game. So I've been through it thick and thin with you guys, man. And finally, y'all are actually really making a darn good game these days. So,
There you go. Heard it from the man's
You
mouth.
have been listening to the fans. I'll give you that.
Oh, see, that's what they got that one. I'm gonna give it to
They
them.
have been listening to the fans. Even an update that happened on this one pretty quick solved some of the issues I was having with, especially with that fumble stuff, man. People just a hit stick one time and that ball came out. I was like, dude, that's Marshawn Lynch. He ain't gonna drop that ball no matter how hard you hit him.
I had his card, that 88 Elite card that they had in 16,
Yeah.
and that thing never dropped the ball. And then
Well,
also
I
you tell
got
me
him-
hit stick.
I got the Marshawn Lynch through the chemistry thing, where you went through the chemistry, so it gave him a double chemistry of whichever one you wanted to choose, like Pound the Rock or whatever.
Right.
So it gave him a 2-notch on the chemistry thing. I had him at an 89 with all the chemistry thing in there, and dude, if he had any kind of head of steam and a safety was coming up to him, that safety was down, man. Just blast.
You turned in to hear Dragon Ball Z and did not know you
Right.
were going to get a Madden Ultimate Team lesson.
Right.
That's amazing.
Well, yeah. So, yeah.
But those worlds, they intercross,
They
man.
They do.
Have
I
you-
even read recently on I think it was Otaku had an article, and it was why black men love Dragon Ball Z, right? And I was like, well, that's really interesting because in my experience, I have that experience,
Yeah.
and I thought that was really interesting, and then I began to think, I've got a couple of wrestling buddies from Ring of Honor and some other places, a couple of black fellas, huge crazy dragon. One of them, I was wearing a shirt yesterday, Keith Lee. Anyway, crazy Dragon Ball Z fans and everything like that. So I'm thinking football players love them some Dragon Ball Z. You even got Dragon Ball Z now happening. Those couple of guys on WWE, right, where they're doing the whole fusion thing.
Yep.
What are those guys' names?
Oh,
Anyone?
you're talking about, gosh, what are those guys? They do the bootios, too. I can't think of their
They're
names.
great, man. They're great. They're doing the fusion. They were holding the Saiyan army and everything, and I was like, yeah, all right, football players, definitely. I'm gonna go down to the field one day and be like, I'm in Dragon Ball Z, and they're gonna give me jerseys, and they're gonna let me wear a helmet, and they're gonna take me into the locker room, and
There you go. You just got to tell them, hey, look,
Right.
I was Mr. Satan. Look it up, baby.
I just want to, kick it with Dez Bryant, and
So you're a big Dallas Cowboys fan.
I am a Cowboy fan. I'm born in San Antonio, but I've lived in Dallas all my life, so Cowboys all the way, baby.
See, I can't say anything bad. I was born in Texas,
Yeah.
but I grew up in Louisiana. And so my grandmother gave us Dallas Cowboy stuff every
Right.
year. And my dad was born in Texas, but when we moved to New Orleans,
Saints.
he went Saints. And
Really?
he never looked back. And
Wow.
when they kicked the field goal to go to the Super Bowl, I'm crying. And my wife looks at me and she goes, "You didn't even cry at our wedding." And I said, "You didn't kick a field goal to send the Saints to
Right.
the Super Bowl." That was my.
That's true.
And she gave me that one. That's the only time I ever got to say something crazy to her. She said, "I'm gonna give you this one."
That one.
You're
get one.
using it now. I did, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it.
You never know. One might come up and be like, son of a.
I shouldn't have used
Right.
it. But no, she knows, and that was the thing. When it came, I've never rooted against the Cowboys. Like, they were that team. They were always that secondary team. And it's like, no, I'm a Saints fan. But if the Cowboys win, I'm not upset. Unless it's against the Saints. Then I'm mad.
Well, I'll tell you, these last 20 years have been a little tough. But they fed us a lot of Super Bowls in the 90s that
Man.
kept us happy for a little while. We're not happy anymore.
But y'all got
You
so
know.
much young, raw talent
We
there,
do,
man.
we do, and if some of those guys can, stay off the suspension blocks and all those kinds of things, but that's not just our team. All teams
Yeah,
are
that's
having those
everywhere.
issues
Yeah.
and stuff. And then now you got the whole thing. Jerry Jones is suing the NFL over commissioner and everything. And
Yeah, that's crazy.
all these nerds are out there like, why are they still talking about sports?
You tuned into this, you just suck it up. No, that is definitely true, man. I love that you just had that whole thing. I bet a lot of fans would have been like, well, he's just an anime guy. But no, these are real 3D people. They have the same loves and enjoyments that you do.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a huge nerd. I mean, I've been, I guess, into the nerd culture, as it were, most of my life. I never was a big comic book fan, but it was always very much sci-fi, Star Wars, those kinds of things, action figures and all that stuff.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
But I did do the comic books too.
I mean, I enjoyed the storylines of comic books. I just never really picked them up and read them a lot, you know.
Now I'm gonna tell you something else you and I have in common, because I was looking at your T-shirt,
Yes.
and I know that's T-Cat. I know that is T-Cat Designs.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And we met them at Anime Austin, and the reason I'm
Oh,
saying
what do you
that,
got? You got one on?
yeah, bro,
Oh, you got
I'm rocking the Fallout.
Fallout, yeah.
I got
Mario
the
Fallout.
Yeah, I saw the
I had
T-Cat.
the one that's got Mario on the motorcycle and the two Yoshis behind him, and it's Jurassic Mario.
I saw that one.
And I've got, and then I have another one that just has Link on the front of it, and it says, "Sad Zelda, why so sad, Zelda?" And then it has a little bubble over his head that says, "My name is Link."
That's yeah. T-Cat makes some of the greatest T-shirts.
They have some good ones. They have some good ones. They got, I think, one with like One Punch Man being punched by Superman and
I have
Goku.
that one.
You have that
I
one?
do have that one.
He's got a Rick and Morty one too. He's got a couple of
Now, I'm
those.
actually saving that one because I'm gonna get all the Dragon Ball Z's for Command Con.
Yeah.
That's all I'm wearing.
Right.
Whole
Well,
time we're there.
I got one shirt, and it wasn't from those guys, but it's speaking of Rick and Morty. It's the color of the shirt is the color of Rick's skin, and then it's literally just his eyeballs and nose and mouth. So literally, it's just Rick's face.
Just a Rick face.
It's a Rick face T-shirt. I was like, you guys need to make this in green. They're like, we already are doing that for a Pickle Rick.
Oh,
Pickle Rick shirt.
I would have it.
Right? It's
I
gonna
gotta have
They
it.
already said they're gonna have little, design little bumps and knobs on it for the pickle feel to it and everything. It'll be a
It's gonna
Pickle
be a
Rick
great shirt. That's gonna be
Right?
great.
I'm a pickle, Morty.
The most quoted line every time we go to a con now is that line, because everybody knows Pickle
Right.
Rick, man.
Well, and before that, I was a little partial to Tiny Rick because of his sad, depressing story that he had. Like, basically, let me out of here. I can't say it, I hate it. But,
Yeah.
but for a couple of weeks there, I was running around just throwing my hands up in the air, going, "I'm Tiny Rick." Just for no reason, just because I love it. But,
Man, everybody, I think we all have a Rick inside of us. It's
Man.
not a good thing to say that because Rick's got issues, but
Man,
we
Rick,
all got a
yes.
Rick inside.
dude, I mean, who doesn't want to just do whatever the hell they want
Just,
and can,
and just say, hey, I don't care what you
know?
think about it.
right?
Yeah, I'm doing this.
Right. I try not to get too crazy into like the fan theories and all that, everything like that. I just want to enjoy the show.
I'm not pointing out anybody, but
Just enjoy it. You guys, just watch the show and just enjoy it. And then when it's done, stop talking about it
yeah.
and just go, "I'm a pickle, Morty."
That's it.
That's it.
Well, man, look, I got to thank you for coming on here.
Hey, pleasure.
Before you get out, we got to know, how can the fans find you on social media?
You want to check me out, Chris Rager, voice actor on Facebook. At Rager Coaster, like roller coaster, but my last name, ARRAGER Coaster, on the Twitters. And check me out there. I also, if you're in the Dallas area, Fort Worth Metroplex kind of thing, I teach voice acting workshops that take place over at Okatron 5000, which is Chris Abbott's audio post company, and
nice.
where places where we record Dragon Ball and things like that. So if you go on Twitter, on Facebook, on me, you'll see some announcements about those. So if y'all are interested in being a voice actor, or you have some experience and would kind of like to maybe take that next step, please follow me there, and number is on there. Please call for more information. I'll be happy to talk to you.
There you go. Right there. This guy's pointing you in the direction. What else do we have to say, man?
I don't know, man. I'm a pickle, Morty.
There we go. Man, you guys, there's a little button at the bottom of the screen. It's going to probably say subscribe on it.
Right.
We need you to click on that so we can
Twice.
keep bringing you these guys, man.
Subscribe twice.
Thank you. Yes. Peace.